Hi, it's Joy, and today I'm going to be watching How to Get Away with Murder, Season 6, Episode 15, Stay. This is the last episode ever. That's the last time I'm ever going to be like, hey, it's Joy, today I'm watching How to Get Away with Murder, and that makes me sad. This show has been so amazing. Like, I still remember the first time I started watching it, how much it blew me away, the twists and the turns, we all know how much we love it. I am so stressed right now. I was like setting this up, getting my camera ready, and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to make it through this episode, because it's the final episode, they could kill everyone. It could be like a bomb goes off in the final episode and everyone dies. So yeah, I'm extraordinarily stressed. I'm so thankful for this show currently. If they kill everyone I love, like, I'll be less thankful at the end. But no, I love this show, can't wait to watch the final episode. For the last time, let's go. Let's get away with murder. Fingers crossed, everyone. What? What is happening? Where is everyone I love?
What's going on, Steve? We don't know yet, Mama. Anybody's out there with those info.
Oh goodness. Is this what kills Annalise? Because of the funeral that I decided wasn't true, but oh dear, oh my god, what's happening? No, oh, I hate this bloody show. I should have known there'd be one more backwards in time thing. Oh god. That's How to Get Away with Murder that we love, but now I'm stressed and I'm going to die.
Listen, I have to get all her files at the office.
Frank's in the car?
Okay, yeah, love you. Don't move. My mother.
Ooh, So did he kill her, or did he just go there to confront her and find that she'd already been murdered? I'm so stressed. I love her super secret room. Everyone knows where it is.
You're the one who kept us together, Bonnie. We
True.
pretended like it was Annalise, but it was always you.
Why?
Is Nate's plan gonna work?
Have you ever met or spoken with Gil?
If Annalise was talking to reporters outside, does that suggest she'd been found not guilty?
No.
So Nate did not
I
succeed.
made a lot of money in my...
Objection!
Those two women are conspiring against me.
I'm censoring the witness. Jury disregard the
This trial is a mess.
Mr. Lennox.
Maybe you can get a mistrial somehow out of it?
Laurel's mad at her father because he lied on the stand, and we all did the same thing.
Connor, don't do this again.
Do what?
Connor feels awful.
The real truth. That'll feel the right thing to do. No more lies, no more guilt about the lies.
See, Connor's a good
You're a
person.
sociopath,
Kinda true.
and you've always been one.
Yeah, but I'm not, and you love me, so that means not sending yourself to prison for even longer than 5
Oh,
years.
God.
Sending Oliver to prison because you voided his immunity. Hey, say you're kidding.
Connor feels awful.
Uh-huh.
They had the deleted scene they put on Twitter where he had a nightmare, maybe it's about to happen, where he has a nightmare of Asher. I'm so stressed because Connor does feel just terrible and I love him. And that's why I love him, because his heart is everything.
This is a very stressful situation.
Yeah, but me having tantrums doesn't help.
That is also true.
It's true, but it's also human. I don't want to. I'm stressed. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. I'm so stressed right now, I'm not okay with this. Who's that? Is that Annalise?
You're not gonna be able to live with yourself, Michaela. I know you say you will, but it's gonna eat away at you.
Childhood. No one ever taught me how to
But
do
that
my
doesn't
hair,
justify.
read.
I mean, I feel awful for you having a terrible
big
childhood,
ones.
but it doesn't excuse being
Because
what
my
you're
mother
like.
got to feed me. I'm not going to choose to suffer if I don't have to.
Connor doesn't have that choice.
I've suffered enough.
Oh, sweetheart, I love you, Connor.
Please.
Frank is ruthless. We're sticking to that.
You in a Supreme Court case.
No.
As if she would tell the truth about this.
No, because I plan.
There's Frank. I'm so stressed. I love this show so much. I'm like trying to fight off the emotions of how sad I am that it's gonna end.
Why would I kill? But all I want to do now is make you happy.
Frank is a very messed up man. I kind of want everyone to get a happy ending. Ooh, what's this? What is this? Oh yes. Though I still feel like everything's gonna go wrong and everyone's gonna get shot to death, but
Victory costs the state millions.
Money well spent if it saved thousands of poor people from unjust conviction. David Castillo saying this.
I just saw the governor on TV saying Nate Leahy Sr. died.
He did die.
Shot to the head.
Your Honor.
this jury, I could never cope with this, but like it's such a juicy trial.
Governor on TV saying Nate Leahy.
About Nate Leahy Sr., did you do what Hannah said and kill him?
Of course she did.
Absolutely not.
So
Stop, I'm ending this cross.
good, I'm done with this witness.
Just proved a point. I couldn't be on this jury because I bet the governor's a Republican. She's guilty.
You can do the
I
right
feel
thing to prosecute
sick.
the governor, Nate.
hate how we never get to see these things.
Offered Nate $20 million.
Okay.
He's the surprise witness. Dead witness as soon as I get my hands on him.
Don't say that, or someone could overhear you. I love it, it's all twists and turns. Even in the final episode, I can barely cope with it. Just getting her anger out into the tape.
Just like Sam and Solomon, Matt, Clyde. You know better than any of them.
Oh, Annalise. Please tell me you're going to fake your death at the end if that is your funeral. He's leaving?
What do you do? Couldn't have another lie between us.
So you put the burden on me?
It's on us.
She'll share it with you.
And you just need...
They have one messed up relationship. I don't think it's what's healthiest for either of them. Oh, is that all his money? Or what's left of it? Oh, they're brothers, of course.
You hung up on your dad, right? That's what all this is about.
Please tell him you're brothers.
Wouldn't you be? He did. You know how I know? Because he had me do it. Didn't know she was pregnant at the time. Sad, right?
Yep.
Your dad had me kill your sibling.
Yep. And his sibling. No wonder he's so messed up.
From all this, or Sam's gonna destroy your life like he's done everyone else.
Gabriel, listen to him, to be honest.
Maybe I should go to law school.
Good luck.
I just sneaked into
Yeah.
the law library to find ways to make the FBI give you Michaela's deal.
Ollie, stop.
You are depressed. That is very clear, so it's my job to take the wheel.
Oh, he does just want to protect him.
To prison.
Oh.
Why do I have to keep saying that? Especially to you, my husband, who's supposed to
Connor, I love you,
understand and honor
okay?
what I think's best for me.
I hate how
What
much
about
you
what's best
suffer.
for you? Have you even thought about that?
Of course.
Look, I need you to fight like hell to get the same deal that Michaela got.
Oh,
So that
God.
we, that you owe me this.
Oh,
If you don't
Connor, I
agree,
love
then
you,
I'll
okay?
just divorce you. Right now.
Oh.
Okay. Sorry.
Oh, Connor, I love you, okay? I'm glad Oliver's fighting for you. But I love that you don't want to just give up. Oh, God.
You found Connor.
Who is it?
Lanford.
Oh, my goodness.
Plea deal.
No, I testified against Annalise like you wanted.
We're improving the terms, Connor.
I mean, I'm kind of here for this.
Why?
Or do they want him to do something
I
else?
didn't like that you got a different deal than me. Cut it down to no years in probation.
Okay, that's what I want, but...
You don't have to do this.
Why? Well, I'm stressed. There's some kind of complication here. Connor's not going to sign it, is
Mr.
he?
Leahy, were
Or
you
is he?
involved in any way at all
Oh,
with the
because
death
he's already...
of
Oh, I'm so
Sam Petey?
stressed. Do they want him to do a
You
snap
were
to...
arrested and almost charged for his
Do they want him to
murder a
testify
while.
to something else? Is he the surprise witness?
Committed yourself. Who do
I
you
just...
believe framed you, Mr. Leahy?
This trial goes right back to season 1. It's just... Oh,
Annalise. If she wasn't the one who framed me.
Nate sticking up for Annalise.
She didn't do it.
He's breaking his plea deal.
That was Hannah Keating.
Did Miss Keating coerce you to change your testimony today?
No. That was you. And Special Agent Lanford when you offered me $20 million to
Very
say
true.
what you want. I'm just guessing that's so I don't tell the jury that an FBI agent working for the Castillos murdered Asher Millstone.
This is awesome. It needed to come out. Good job, Nate.
And don't say because I got the governor, I didn't.
I'm really stressed about Connor.
I got on my side of the road.
I respect that, Nate.
Take responsibility for how you ended up here.
Yeah,
Because you're good at a lot of things, Annalise.
everyone needs to.
Here,
What's this?
What's this?
Wes's confession. I found it on Xavier.
Ooh. Burn it. Oh, Connor, what have you done?
No, you were never at the library.
Oh.
You were with Lanford.
Oliver's the surprise
Agreed to surprise
witness.
Annalise and testify against her as long as he gave me a new deal.
Oh, God, he just wants to protect Connor. Oh, I feel so sick.
Hug me now.
Oh, her family. Oh, she needed them. Oh,
Wes,
God.
You agreed to.
Just to say that.
No, you don't have to tell that lie.
No,
Oh.
I will say whatever it
He
takes.
turned down the...
Divorce.
Oh, God. He hates himself for doing this to Oliver.
I refuse the deal. I go to prison as soon as the trial's over. And I'm not
Oh,
gonna ruin your life
Connor.
that entire time.
Oh, Oh, Connor, he didn't mean that.
This is not your decision to make.
Your testimony could make Annalise lose her trial, and that means Laurel goes to prison and Christopher's alone.
I'm all alone if you go through with this.
Only until you meet someone who's actually good for you.
Oh, Connor.
I've turned you into a criminal.
I made myself into that.
None of that would have happened if I hadn't showed up to your door the night of Sam. That's the only thing keeping us
But
together.
it's just, oh God.
Murder.
It's not just what's been keeping you together, but
always. No. If we stay together.
No, you don't get to do this.
I made my decision.
I know you still love me.
oh Connor, I love you,
No,
okay?
look at me
He just wants to do what's best for all of
Look
us.
at and tell me that you don't love me. Say it.
Oh
I
God.
hear you say it.
He can't. Oh, but he might just to save you.
You can't say it.
He's gonna say it just so that he can try and save you.
I love you.
That's a lot. He'd say anything to try and save you from him. Oh, Connor, I love you so much. Anyone that's hating on Connor can jump off a cliff because his heart is the purest in this show.
Being shamed to death. You know damn well how to show up.
Annalise can do this. I mean, if she's on the steps with reporters when the shooting happens, that suggests she gets found not guilty because she's giving her, like,
Everyone else.
victory
The
speech.
Castillos, the governor, the supposed
This is the day of the
conspiracy. That is
shooting,
all
isn't it?
Noise to distract you from the person.
Oh my God, this is the day of the shooting.
DA
We're gonna go through the whole show.
88.
Oh, that was his little brother that he caused the death of, and
I'm sorry.
you didn't know. God, is Frank the shooter? Is Frank gonna snap? I hate this, I'm so stressed.
I've worn a mask.
I'm gonna miss
every day
Annalise,
of
and I'm gonna
my
miss
life.
everyone.
I have done many a bad thing.
But not the ones I'm accused of here today.
What I am is a survivor.
Oh, I think they probably
I
should
survived
find her
getting
not
taunted
guilty.
by the N-word when I was in grade school, and grief. And every
She is a
death
survivor.
leading up to them. Am I the mastermind criminal who pulled off a series of violent
She's not.
murders? Hell no.
There is actually no mastermind. It all just happened.
Who I am is a 53-year-old woman from Memphis, Tennessee, named Anna Mae Harkness. I'm ambitious, black, bisexual,
I'm glad she's owning it.
angry, sad. I'm at your mercy.
I couldn't be on the jury for this kind of trial. Oh, Annalise, I love you.
I think I'm in love with you, Annalise.
I think we've known that for a
I tried to
while.
fight it, but I'm taking my mask off too. Because I love you.
What do you really want?
Love.
I can't promise you the same.
I don't know if Annalise is in the right place for this right now, but in the future.
And it's out there for you.
Give her time.
There's a verdict.
Oh my God, was that quick? That seems quick. I'm stressed. I feel sick. I'm mainly stressed. Well, stressed for Annalise, I'm stressed for Connor, and I guess I'm stressed for Laurel because she's going to prison too, isn't she? I feel so sick. It's got to be not guilty because she's on the steps giving the speech to reporters.
In count 1 of the indictment, the jury finds the defendant Annalise Keating
Not guilty.
not guilty.
Yes.
For murder in the first degree of Rebecca Sutter, the jury finds the defendant not guilty.
Yes. I mean, the evidence is not there because it wasn't like they painted it out to be.
For murder not guilty. For murder in the first
I hope she finds out that Connor turned down a better deal to help her out.
Concerned about a
backlash from the FBI?
Is he going for it? Because I respect him. Oh god. No. Connor doesn't deserve this if none of the rest of them do. Oh.
No, I'm not doing
I love you, sweetheart. I love you, Connor. You deserve so much better.
I know better, okay?
Oh god, Connor, I love you. You deserve so much better. You should have fought for him to get the deal when you got the better deal. It should have been you as well. You both deserve to go, so don't say you can never feel bad, Michaela. Fight for Connor. You're all alone now. That's what happens when you choose to fight for yourself over everyone else. But you got away with murder. Oh, is Tegan, is it getting him killed? It's getting him murdered in prison. Is that what she got Tegan to arrange? One last murder to end our How to Get Away with Murder times. Good times. I'm not gonna cry about Connor. I'm not.
There needs to be an independent.
I'm so stressed about this shooting. Oh my god. I need to know what's happening.
Bless her and keep her. The Lord shine upon
I need to know what's happening in the shooting.
Amen.
Is she faking this death? And here's Wes. I'm so bloody stressed. I feel sick. I need to know more of what's happening.
Are you concerned about a backlash from the FBI?
Okay, now we're gonna see. Oh my goodness. Oh my god, I feel sick. Who's coming? Oh, it is Frank. Oh god, Frank, what are you gonna do? Oh god, oh god, oh god. That's who Frank shoots at. Frank's gonna shoot the governor. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I mean, I'm sorry she deserves it, but oh my god. Oh my god, oh my god. I mean, yeah, the bad guys got their comeuppance, so that's okay with me. I'd rather they were living a life in prison, but... Oh god, Frank. Oh gosh. What is happening? Is this Wes? Or is this Christopher? I told everyone it was going to be baby Christopher. He looks just like his dad. They tricked everyone into thinking it was Wes, but I mean, he was very dead in season 3. I'd actually like to know what happened to Connor's life, please. Okay. Oh, sweetheart, that's not how you make things right, but that's how Frank sees things.
No, you can tell her. You're gonna tell her. No, you tell her.
Oh god. I mean, Frank was the original murderer, so... She shot too! Oh my god, I thought that was Frank's blood. I mean, Bonnie's also a murderer, but I didn't really want Bonnie to die either. Less than Frank. Oh my god, she didn't even notice she'd been shot. Oh my god.
Words can make meaning out of an entire life.
She lived to be old, that's lovely.
To a lifetime of struggles for Annalise.
That's... Annalise got an old... I mean, she could have lived a bit longer, but she got to live to old age.
I never me.
Wake up! Alright, you
Oh,
wake up.
Bonnie.
Wake up, I need you.
Oh. I didn't expect Bonnie to die. I've disliked Bonnie a lot because of the way she killed Rebecca, but oh god, she deserved to make a life.
But those moments when she did choose.
Oh.
It's one of the 1,000 things Annalise.
Please let me see Connor out of prison.
Like hell, right?
Nate. I mean, that is actually a good idea.
Annalise
Oh, my darling.
Chosen by Annalise. And despite the demand she put on us, we know she taught us something.
They're together, all my sweet babies. Oh, they stayed together, that's good. They all stayed separate, that's probably for the best.
I think that's what she valued
Oh,
most
Connor
about her
and
life,
Oliver, he got to have his good
the
life.
trials she won, or glass she broke. But the fight she lost, she knew
Michaela put herself first and went for it.
that made her.
So Connor and Oliver got to live to old age together, I'm okay.
It's easier to choose nice. Even if that means settling.
She had a good life, I'm so happy. I don't want it to end. Is this Kristoff starting at the school? Because I love the Heathens episode. I do not think he should go to this school.
Take your seats.
Oh, he's the teacher.
Which means we're already behind. I'm Professor Christopher Castillo. Criminal Law 100, or as my mentor liked to call it.
I like this as an ending.
How to get away with murder.
I'm sad I don't want the show to end. Sorry. I'm gonna miss it a lot. It's only just hitting me now that my terror over what's gonna happen to Connor and Annalise is finished. But the sadness of losing the show is hitting me properly, but okay. So the main part of the episode already feels like it was weeks ago to me. But the trial, I'm so glad that Annalise won, and I think their evidence was very circumstantial and it was based largely on witness testimonies, and there was lots of talk of witnesses being coerced, and especially with Laurel flipping, that kind of was enough, I think, if I was a juror, to be like, oh, maybe those other two witnesses were also coerced. I'm kind of confused because I thought that Laurel would end up in prison because she broke her deal, but is it because Annalise was found not guilty? She didn't have to, wasn't it? That was it. Whereas with Connor, he didn't break his deal, he just kept the original deal where he had to go to prison. And I think that Connor, I'll get to Connor in a minute, okay? So, oh, you know, I'm going to talk about Connor first, because I love Connor. Like, when I started watching this show, I thought Connor was a really fun character. I thought, you know, but he seemed so cocky and arrogant, and I was using Oliver, and I was kind of like, oh, you know, he's a lot of fun. But I remember in season 1 being like, I don't know if I actually like any of these characters. And then when the more we saw of the night of Sam's murder, the more apparent it became that Connor could not cope with it. That Connor was one of the least culpable there, you know, like, he didn't shove anyone over a railing, he didn't do anything, probably he and Laurel, but he was very much just doing what he was told, and then he had that breakdown, and that was when it really hit home to me, because I completely understand that different people react to trauma in different ways, but like Laurel and Wes were able to keep fairly calm and just carry on like nothing had happened, whereas Connor fell apart with Oliver and then was really paranoid, and I just, something about seeing his anxiety and his reaction just connected to me, and from that moment onwards, he was my favourite. And then watching him with Oliver, I think, was so beautiful, their relationship, because he started off using Oliver as, you know, yeah, it'd be fun to sleep with him and he'd get him to do some hacking or give him the information he needed, and, you know, it was just some fun. And, like, you very quickly saw that in season 1, when he was then did the same thing with a different person and Oliver broke up with him for cheating, that he was, like, realised that he liked Oliver more than that. And I think over the course of season 1, you could really see Connor grow. I mean, Jack Fillehy is an amazing actor, but like Connor's character grew so much just in season 1 that by the end of season 1 he was hands down my favourite character for multiple reasons. We saw his growth with Oliver, we saw how he was there for him and how he tried to get the relationship back, but he was respectful of Oliver's boundaries while still letting him know he was there for him. And it just makes me really emotional to see that growth. And then over the whole show, to see how much he hated himself for dragging Oliver down, feeling like he dragged Oliver down. I mean, in season 3, he was saying, you know, I'm broken and you deserve someone better, than me, and Oliver said, don't say that. But Connor has always hated himself a lot, and every bad thing that happened, despite the fact that he basically didn't do anything wrong ever. Like, the worst thing he did was give CPR to Wes and then not tell anyone about it. Like, just watching him break, but also grow into such a good person was so wonderful to watch. And he was so true. Like, anyone that was claiming that they hate Connor because he took the deal, I mean, he took the deal because he kind of thought they all deserved to be punished. And when they signed those deals, Annalise had fled the country. As far as they were concerned, she was sipping cocktails on a beach. So he signed that first deal thinking, I'll get 5 years in prison and Annalise will get some years in prison. And some of his initial resentment against Annalise would all be bubbling up there because ever since she convinced them not to go to the cops, he's been angry at her. And then you saw, as it became real, as they had to face Annalise, Connor struggling. As, you know, since he signed that deal, he's been struggling. Even actually since they were discussing the possibility of signing the deal, he's been struggling. And it's been Oliver that's been saying to him, look, I love you, I can't lose you to this, sign the deal. He did it for Oliver. And then, you know, when it became a death penalty case, you could see Connor falling apart over that and hating himself and spiralling with it. And I don't know, I do honestly believe that if Oliver hadn't been involved, if it hadn't been them threatening Oliver, there is a chance, again, it's not 100%, but I think while on the stand, there is a very good chance that Connor might have done what Laurel did, that Connor might have been able to flip. But he blames himself so much for all the suffering that Oliver has done. He blames himself so much for the fact that Oliver has been involved in these crimes. So for him to then do something that put Oliver in prison, he would never do that. So that's why he stuck by the initial deal. And I actually have so much respect for him as well, because Michaela knows they deserve to go to prison. You know, Michaela knows that if they're trying to put Annalise in prison, she deserves to go to prison just as much as anyone else. And I hate that Connor is, like, the one with the purest heart, because even, I mean, okay, Laurel flipped, but she also kind of I love Laurel, actually. Laurel, like, she was always a character I was not very sure of, because, you know, you were never quite sure of her motives, and they really made you not sure of her motives. But, like, this season, I'm like, Laurel's the best, the second favourite character, maybe. I like that she did flip, but largely why she flipped was because she thought that Christopher was going to grow up to hate her, because Christopher was going to grow up to find out the truth and hate her for lying. And she didn't want to have the kind of relationship with him that she did with her dad. That's why she flipped. So she did actually put herself first when she flipped. Even with the possibility of prison, Christopher would still love her, but Connor could have got just probation. Connor could have had no prison time. All Oliver had to do was say, oh, I deleted some pictures. And then, you know, in all probability, Annalise could be like, oh, does your husband have a better deal now? You know, she could have probably torn Oliver to shreds on the stand, or just, you know, commented on the fact that Connor's deal had magically improved around the same time Oliver agreed to testify. You know, maybe she probably could have got out of the trial with the same verdict, because there was enough confusion all over the place with Laurel and with Nate and everything, that in a way he could well have risked that and got himself probation and told himself, well, Annalise is still going to be just as fine, Oliver's testimony is not going to do that much. But he thinks he deserves prison, and he hates himself for making Oliver be someone that goes to the FBI to volunteer to fake information. He hates that he's done this to Oliver, whereas Oliver, I think, just loves Connor and would just want to protect him and do anything. And so when Connor said, I don't love you, he didn't mean it. But what he meant was, I'm setting you free, you deserve better than me, you deserve someone that hasn't dragged you into this. And, you know, there are elements of truth in that, and there always have been. But Connor kept saying to Oliver, don't investigate, don't get involved, you don't want to work for Annalise, you don't want to get involved. And Oliver kept pushing because he wanted to be part of it. And none of them were intentionally part of it. You know, like, going on about this big conspiracy to murder Sam. There was no conspiracy to murder Sam. There was a minute conspiracy to steal data off of his laptop so that they could prove he'd killed Lila. That was as far as the conspiracy went. So none of them were intentionally cold-blooded murderers, and none of them deserve prison. Now, I suppose 5 years in prison sucks, but it's not the worst thing in the world. And with good behaviour, I imagine it would be less than that. And it hurts my heart to think that Connor had to spend any time in prison. I will like to think to myself that they managed to work him out a better deal. Like, I don't know, somehow they did something that got him less time than that, even like a appeal for good behaviour, or for the fact that, you know, he was coerced by the FBI, etc. I don't know, something like that happened in the fallout, and Connor didn't spend that long in prison. Maybe I'll tell myself that. But no matter what, I think Connor stayed true to himself at the end. Anyone that hates on him, I'm sorry, he could have got probation and Annalise's trial would have very likely gone the same way, but he didn't even want to risk it. And I think that shows you that it's no one knows how you're going to act in that pressure situation when your entire life could be taken away from you, when the people you love could be taken from you. You don't know how you're going to react. And I think most of us would at least initially react in a self-serving way. We would react to protect ourselves. But as time went on and you got more and more opportunities to break away from that, that's when you kind of, your fight and flight, like you stop thinking quite so much about like me and you start seeing the wider picture. So Connor breaks my heart, but seeing him and Oliver as old men together, clearly together, and I like to think that, you know, they got to raise a family like they wanted to. They got to have the life they always wanted. And, you know, being a lawyer was at this point not making Connor very happy, so I'm sure he found a different career path that was much better, and just, or he became a lawyer. I feel like their initial deals, at least Michaela's, their plan was to expunge their criminal part. But, I mean, I just think that they're going to have had a really beautiful life together because they were just old and happy together, and like, I kind of wish that we'd got to see a few more flashes of that, but I totally understand that it's Annalise's show, like she's the main character, so we had to focus on her. But there's the part of me that's like, where was my flashes of the Colliver life? Excuse me? So that was a lot. So yeah, with the trial itself, I love that Nate has been a character that I feel like for a good part of this show kind of became superfluous, but at the same time there were various points where he didn't, but I really, really like that ultimately he took responsibility for himself. And I think his words to Annalise about take responsibility for your part is that that's kind of the stuff that she confessed to the jury about. Is like, she's like, I keep saying, people have been like sort of in my comments as though I'm trying to say Annalise is evil. She's not, but she's just as guilty as Connor and Michaela. Like, they're as guilty as each other, and in some ways she's guiltier, and I guess in some ways they're guiltier. But, you know, that was always my point. My point wasn't that Annalise deserved prison. I wanted her to win this trial from the very beginning. But I love that speech she gave. I'm going to miss Annalise's inspirational speeches, but when she was saying how she's done bad things, she's coerced witnesses, she's broken the law, she's done this, she's done that. She has done a lot of things that contributed to this great conspiracy, but the biggest issue is that it was never a great conspiracy. It was always just a series of unfortunate events. Would have been another title from this, take it from that book series to this show. It basically would be How to Get Away with Murder, a series of unfortunate events should be its tagline. But I like that we kind of got called back to season 1 and to the initial murders. Just, oh my god, so much happened. So I'm so glad that Nate did the right thing in the sense that, yeah, he lied, but he did the right thing because the right thing was lying there. And, you know, he pointed out about the governor and everything, and I think that helped. The governor lying on the stand, I mean, yeah, of course she's going to. And like Oliver, I think one of the saddest parts of the show is that we have kind of seen, like Connor said, Oliver lose some of his morals, or Oliver lose his way, because he joined in with the conspiracy, but they all have. But I think Oliver was on the outside for so long that watching him be willing to lie and cheat and do dirty deals to try and protect Connor is heartbreaking, but that's what they've all been doing from the beginning. And I think good people will make mistakes like that. Good people will do bad things to try and protect the people they love, and it doesn't necessarily make you a bad person. If you do it and you feel no remorse, that does make you a bad person. And so therefore we hit Michaela. Now, I have loved Michaela. I mean, again, like, season 1, I was like, I don't kind of like any of these characters, but again, she had her breakdown during the whole Sam murder thing. So again, I was like, I can visibly see how Michaela is falling apart over this. She has always been someone that, you know, in a lot of ways is like Annalise, in the sense of had an awful upbringing, an awful childhood that I can't even imagine, and has worked and worked and worked to make herself into something to fit in society, as Annalise said. But at the same time, like, having an awful childhood, it doesn't excuse you becoming an awful person. You know, it can give you that drive. It can maybe, you know, I'll give more leeway. If someone has suffered abuse or has had a bad background, I'll give them more leeway in making bad choices than I will someone that, you know, had a rosy, lovely life. But at the end of the day, if you're willing to give someone the death penalty, I mean, I guess something that will have helped Michaela live with herself will be that Annalise didn't go to prison, will be that, you know, the worst thing that happened was her best friend got 5 years. In a way, the fact that Annalise got to have a long and happy life will show Michaela that, will have helped her not feel guilty, but it's kind of a bit galling to see that she got to go off and have her amazing career and become a judge, and it's a bit like... but I do think that as much as she tried to tell herself she was never going to feel bad about anything, the fact that Connor had to go to prison and she didn't, the fact that she lost Oliver's friendship, she lost Connor's friendship, she lost Laurel, she didn't get to be part of it. I mean, from what I gather from that funeral at the end, Connor and Oliver stayed away from Annalise too, which fair enough, to be honest. They had no need to be together. Laurel and Christopher and etc. That's different. Especially as Laurel on the stand did change. Although I do hope Annalise found out that Connor at the end had her back, because he could very well have got probation and it probably wouldn't have affected the trial. But I think Michaela's an interesting one because by what we saw, she had that moment of utter grief when, you know, Connor was led away. He didn't even say goodbye to her. When Oliver, you know, she tried to be there for him and she was kind of like, oh, let's go home to our house and, you know, we'll be together. And he just said, no, that should be you. And it should have been both of them or neither of them. I mean, the fact that in the first episode of this season, I was crying my eyes out because both Connor and Michaela had protected the other one in their deal. I remember thinking that, like, okay, yeah, they're betraying Annalise, but they are looking out for someone else, you know. They are doing the best they can with this bad situation. And that was so important to me in that moment. And then when Michaela got her deal negotiated to probation, she could have got Connor's done the same, or at least let slip that it had happened. I mean, I don't think that the FBI would have risked losing both of the witnesses by any means, because they needed them quite badly, as they were the large proportion of the case. So I don't like that Michaela didn't fight for Connor at any point. And, you know, it was left to Oliver to do extra dirty dealings to try and fight for him. And then Laurel not wanting to talk to her either. I mean, yeah, in that situation, I do think that the way it ended up, as much as they were a messed up family, the way this season went, they all did need to go their separate ways. But Michaela isolated herself, and I mean, she seemed very content with her career, but that is a path to being very unhappy. Now, can we look at it as the fact that she's become a judge? Maybe, and instead of going into the corporate side and everything, that maybe she made a attempt to do better. Maybe we can try and give her the benefit of the doubt and say that, you know, she kind of learned her lesson, and then although she kept her law career, and an illustrious one, that she went down the path of being a good judge or something. Maybe we can give Michaela the benefit of that doubt. But, you know, I did sort of feel for her when she was breaking down, but at the same time, I was like, that's what you get. I mean, the number of times she tried to say that, like, yeah, I'm fine, Connor, stop feeling bad about it, I don't feel bad at all, it's just, it's wrong, you know. That's why I don't like anyone lumping Connor and Michaela together, because Connor has been dying about this all season. And then we have Nate getting all that money, and I like that he is using it to make a centre. He's basically doing it in his father's legacy. He's continuing Annalise's work, but he's, you know, giving, because that is something that you see again and again and again on TV shows, is that ex-cons, criminals, struggle to get jobs, people with their families incarcerated struggle, so he's for using that money for good. You know, he's using that blood money for taking his father's life, for this awful corrupt governor and everything, and he's just throwing it in her face, although she's dead, to make better, to make things better for the rest of the world. And so I love Nate's ending. I actually think that was beautiful. Annalise's ending was also everything. The fact that that was her old age funeral, I really thought that. And then people kept saying that, oh, they've confirmed that it's Wes, it's not Christopher. And I was kind of thinking, but how the hell is Wes alive? Like, his face was burnt. Like, that was a very elaborate cover-up. I know, like, in one season I think season 4, I half expected Wes to turn up. Or maybe it was season 5. It was one of the seasons I remember half expecting it to be Wes. But he was very dead. So I did think that that was going to be kind of, it would take away a lot from season 3, just because we saw his dead body, and, you know, Connor snapped a rib while giving him CPR, that if he was just like, hey guys, it's Wes. But I like that they made us doubt that, and I think it's the kind of show where in an interview they probably are going to give you red herrings, so I really hope no one's too upset about that. I know some people, Wes was their favourite character, and I mean, to be honest, if they killed, I am often someone, if they kill off one of my favourite characters, I often cannot keep watching the show just because it makes me too sad. But if they'd killed Connor and I'd kept watching and then he turned up at the end and then it turned out to just be his son, I would be upset with that. So I really hope no one's too upset about that. But that was my theory all along. And people do look a lot like their fathers. I've not necessarily seen anyone look identical, but I guess it's possible. And, you know, I like that Annalise was his mentor, that in a way Annalise got to have a second chance at raising Wes. Like, she didn't adopt Christoph, the little boy Christoph, but she got to be there for Christopher, and obviously he was Laurel's baby, but that, you know, she raised, like, he and Laurel, I guess, although he seemed very heavily accented and to be speaking Spanish, but that he knew Annalise and he grew up with her, and I think that's really special. And that for Annalise, that I think we see that she was with, I was slightly confused at the end about who she was with. I think it was Tegan that she ended up with, but it could have been Eve as well, but I think it was Tegan. But I love that Annalise just got to have a long and happy life. She got to be with that baby that she'd loved, and that was Wes's baby. She got to kind of put right her mistakes, and I think in this episode she finally kind of admitted to herself that she had made mistakes, that, you know, yes, she didn't deserve what was happening to her, yes, she didn't deserve the death penalty or life in prison, yes, none of this was deserved, but that she wasn't a totally blameless individual in the situation. And so I think that was really important for me. I love Annalise regardless, but that was important, and just getting to see that she had a really long and happy life, and, you know, that she got love and she got to see the world and she got to be free, and she got to, I think, tell ourselves that she was a survivor and finally believe it is everything. And so I feel like I'm missing characters. I genuinely did not expect Frank and Bonnie to die at all. Not even the tiniest bit. Like, even when we saw that, it occurred to me that Frank might be the shooter, I kind of just thought he'd go to prison. It didn't occur to me that, of course, security guards would shoot back. Oh my goodness. Okay, the show's called, in normal television, I always want the bad guys to get life in prison because I am anti the death penalty, so in that sense I'm anti people being killed. But I also kind of love that the governor and Xavier died. I think that Laurel has that ruthless streak, but I think with Laurel, it's always been a protective ruthless streak. When Laurel gets out her ruthless streak, it is to protect her baby and her life, and so she knew she was in danger because of her father, so she and Tegan, I assume that was what she got Tegan to do, helped finish him off, which, you know, he was a bad, bad man. He didn't even try and help them at the end, so he deserved to die. But at the same time, he deserved life in prison, which he kind of already had. So, but I also did enjoy watching him die because it's just a TV show. And then the governor, I know from what Annalise was saying, it seemed very likely that public momentum was going to be against her, and that at the very least she would lose her position, if not go to prison. But I'm not sad that she died because she had such a smug face. Like, brilliant acting because I hated the governor. So yeah, the fact that it didn't occur to me, I mean, I was kind of confused about, like, why on earth would Frank want to kill Annalise? But then I was like, then obviously it was quite obvious what's going to happen, and, you know, Frank dying in Bonnie's arms was so unexpected, and the fact that Bonnie hadn't realised she was shot too because she was so worried about Frank. I didn't realise, I just thought that was Frank's blood. Oh my goodness, like, I genuinely did not expect, and then when Frank was dying, the last thing I expected was Bonnie to die. And I've had my problems with Bonnie and Frank because they both have been the most remorseless in their murders. You know, they are two of the only characters that have murdered. In a way, actually, thinking about it, the characters that survived were all the characters that had never personally murdered anyone, weren't they? Because Frank killed Lila, Bonnie killed Rebecca, Asher killed the DA, but Annalise never killed anyone, Connor never killed anyone, Michaela never killed anyone, Laurel never killed anyone, Oliver never killed anyone. Oh, Nate. Technically Bonnie finished him off, so Nate did kill someone. That, my theory slightly doesn't work there, but everyone but Nate who killed someone died. And even then, I suppose Bonnie was the finishing touches, although, you know, maybe he could have survived in hospital. I think that was what was always haunting Bonnie, so maybe, yeah, the actual people that murdered people all did die. But yeah, I genuinely did not expect Bonnie's death, and I think that would have taken a very long time for Annalise to heal from Frank as well, because they were back to being very close and to kind of knowing how messed up everything was. But Frank, you know, he killed Lila, and he genuinely didn't really feel bad about it until he found out that he'd killed his unborn sibling. You know, he was willing to kill people without remorse, and I know that that was sort of to do to his upbringing, although he was raised by people that loved him, wasn't he? And I guess, I mean, I don't believe that being the product of incest of two not great people makes you not great. Like, I think incest can cause, like, birth defects and, like, health issues. I don't think it can cause, like, corrupt souls. But Frank obviously had gone down a very dark path. So as much as, like, by this season, even those characters like Frank and Bonnie, the way she killed Rebecca, she showed no remorse ever. Like, the most remorse she ever showed for having killed Rebecca was being upset that Annalise was upset with her. So that, for me, has always been my big red flag against Bonnie. Other than that, I would have loved Bonnie, and I do feel for Bonnie. I understand, like, she had an awful childhood. Like, I mean, she had a childhood you cannot even comprehend. She didn't even have a childhood. She just suffered, and I did want her this season to have a happy ending. I was rooting for her to have a happy ending. I was kind of thinking, okay, she and Frank need to go their separate ways because they are not healthy together. But I did not expect that at all. But it is interesting that everyone that technically murdered someone is dead. Because Nate just beat someone up to the brink of death and then Bonnie killed him. That is an interesting twist, but that ending, oh my god. They did make me think Annalise had died, and then I was like, but her suit's grey, and it was a white suit, wasn't it? Or the other way around, I can't remember which way now. And then obviously it was the governor who died, and good riddance. And, you know, the final murders in that chain, okay, the Xavier Castillo one was behind closed doors, but I guess that their family's no longer the head of the cartel, or were they even a cartel or just their corrupt dealings? I don't remember if they were like a technical like cartel or anything. But I guess someone else has now risen into the breach. Either the Castillo business has collapsed or someone else has got into the breach and who's maybe not too fussed about the Castillo family anymore. So Laurel and Christoph are safe. And then the final murder of the governor and Frank and Bonnie happened in broad daylight with lots of reporters around. So that kind of wasn't part of the cover-up and you couldn't cover it up. And, you know, how to get away with murder is you don't always do it. And I think an interesting thing the show has shown is that as much as like How to Get Away with Murder, in your soul, you're never going to get away with it. In your knowledge that you have done, I don't mean that by like going to heaven, I just mean that you're going to live with it. And I think having served some time will really help Connor heal in a weird way. I mean, I guess, I mean, I'd like to think that if you sign a deal with the FBI for stuff, they don't send you to a maximum security prison, right? So he hasn't been in like the worst kind of prison. That his trauma and his soul, I think, from everything he's been saying, the fact that he did time, the fact that he suffered for what he'd done and his role in it, despite the fact that I would argue he had one of the smallest roles in it, will really help Connor heal and in the long run be good for him and help him and Oliver just find each other and live there happily ever after. And I miss Connor so much already. Sorry, it's really hard to say goodbye to favourite characters, especially when they don't get a perfect happy ending. I mean, he got a fairly good... I'm kind of making myself think, like, the more I think about it, is the more that, like, Connor all season, in fact for multiple seasons, has hated himself more and more and more for his role in all of this. And so him serving some sort of time, him giving Oliver the choice, the chance to be free, but Oliver sticks by him. Like, I think in the long run, Connor will heal very nicely and they'll get to have the life they wanted. And I assume they'll get to have children and adopt children or use surrogates or do whatever, and because they talked multiple times about wanting a big happy family. I'm not just like trying to enforce children on people. They wanted that. They wanted dogs and they wanted children. So I do really hope that that was their future. And you know, you wouldn't necessarily bring your kids, your grown-up kids, to a funeral for someone that you don't speak about because it's from a really dark time in your past. So the fact that we didn't see their kids doesn't mean they don't have them. I think it's interesting that Michaela didn't go to the funeral. I think that is quite telling. I think that shows that she had to close off that part of herself. And I don't know, I'm so intrigued about Michaela's future, because is she happy? Did she continue down that path and get what she wanted but at the cost of her soul? Or did she see sense and do better? But I think it's good in a way that we didn't have every single character be Connor, in the sense that like Laurel made the right choice on the stand, but she also did that kind of for selfish reasons. And then ultimately, because she did that, she didn't go to prison. Connor didn't make all the right choices, but he tried his best the entire time to make the right choices, and he found a way to heal himself in the process. And I love him and I miss him. Oh my god, I'm sorry. I just miss Connor so much. I think I might have to make like a video all about Connor and how much I love him, but Connor is everything to me and I'm not okay. I need to talk about everything else and I've missed things. I feel like I've missed major plot points here. But I love that, you know, like I'm so happy that Annalise got away with it. I think the fact that we knew that her mum said, oh, my daughter, Annalise, she's out there on the steps with the reporters. You do that when you've won, you don't do that when like, I'm about to be taken to prison, but I thought I'd make a quick statement. So that kind of reassured me that she was going to win, but I was still like, but what if it's the day before the sentencing and whatever, and you know, it was very stressful. But it was still that moment of getting the not guilties was everything. And oh, Connor's sake, thank you. Now I know how to love or whatever, because, oh, I mean, the fact that, like, we've met his dad, and his dad is not great, and his mum's weird, and the fact that his dad was in the closet, so I guess didn't love his mum, but was just doing what he thought you were supposed to do, and then the whole concept still of your son coming out, and then you being like, oh, you've given me the courage to break your mother's heart and destroy her world, I'm off now. Like, that would mess you up so much, and I think that was the Connor we met, the Connor that was very messed up by his mixed up family, the Connor that hadn't seen a proper loving relationship because his parents had not loved each other in the way that people probably should, and who had kind of seen that put yourself first because the world's going to make you suffer anyway. And Oliver showed him different. Oliver showed him how to make the right choices, so that in this episode he made the right choices, and I'm just so proud of him. Oh my goodness, I'm such a mess. I'm sorry, I feel like all I've done in this review is briefly mention another character, and I'm like, I think Connor existed and it was perfect, but I'm so proud of his character. Like, if you rewatch the pilot and you see Connor, you would never imagine him being where he is at the end, how much he has grown and how strong he is as a person. And I think, like I said, that in the weirdest way possible, almost that going to prison will be good for him. I mean, like I said, I feel like maybe if you signed a deal with the FBI, you wouldn't go to a maximum security prison, you'd maybe get to go to like a minimum security prison because you made a deal. So it sucks, but it's not going to be with like the worst offenders. And I don't know, I love him a lot. And I'm so proud of him, like this episode, because I've said from the beginning that I think if Oliver wasn't in danger, there is every chance he would have gone back on his deal. And, you know, the fact that he could have got probation, it was in front of him, all he had to do was sign the paper. and Oliver would have gone and lied on the stand. And like I said, with Nate's testimony, with Laurel's testimony, there was every chance that I do not think one person being like, oh, I deleted some pictures of her sleeping with a student would have tipped the jury's mind. But Connor didn't want to do that. He didn't want to have Oliver go down the same path he'd done, and he wanted to protect him, and he didn't want to betray Annalise even more than they already had. And I do think it's quite funny that, like, you'd think if you were at Midtown, you'd be like, can you please not call your How to Get Away with Murder, because our previous, like, law professor that had that as her class title, she did get away with murder. I mean, she was innocent, of course, because she was proven innocent, but it's a bit close. Can you maybe call it something else? But that was such a good ending, like, coming full circle, seeing Wes's son, seeing him ride on a bike like Wes did, seeing him standing there, and just the look on his face, that was brilliant. And, you know, I'm a bit sad it wasn't Wes, but at the same time, because I'm normally someone that, like, I'm totally okay with miraculous resurrections of characters and things. I don't think it cheapens the original's crying, because you still suffer that. The characters still thought they were dead. But in this one, I would have been like, I wouldn't have bought it, just because we saw him on a morgue table, we saw part of his face being burnt, we saw Connor giving him CPR and breaking ribs. I was like, he was very, very dead. So if he suddenly turned up, it would have been like, I'm going to need a really, really good explanation. But at the same time, I'm so sorry to anyone that was really sad about that. But I just love my old man, Oliver. And then having that moment with Laurel being like, you know, we're here to respect Annalise, because at the end of the day, I'm sorry, Connor helped Annalise. Because like I said, okay, yeah, sure, that testimony probably wouldn't have made a huge difference, but even so, he did what he could in the end. When Oliver wasn't threatened, and if anything, Oliver's soul was threatened, but he did it for Oliver, he did it for Annalise, and he did it for himself. And I'm so proud of Connor, and I'm so sorry, I probably need to end this review here. But I want to say a quick thank you to everyone behind How to Get Away with Murder. This show has just been full of twists and turns. It's probably responsible for a hell of a lot of stress and like high blood pressure on everyone's behalf. The twists keep you guessing. They've gone from the ridiculous, but when I say they're ridiculous, I mean like, why is your penis on a dead girl's phone? Like, iconic, amazing, not ridiculous in a bad way at all. This show has just been superb. I love it so much. I'm gonna miss it so much. Every year you just have to get with Murder's coming back, and it just fills you with so much stress and anxiety and the twists and the turns, but they're so fun to speculate on. And I'm gonna miss Connor most of all, because watching his character grow and his love with Oliver has been so special to me, and I'm so thankful to everyone for it, and most especially for Connor. So yes, this is my last reaction to How to Get Away with Murder. I hope you loved it as much as I did. Thank you for watching.